Leonardo DiCaprio finally won an Oscar for Best Leading Actor, but the point of him winning that award doesn't really matter to me. What matters is the speech that he gave when he accepted the award. Now, Leonardo DiCaprio is known for giving political statements when he's accepting awards, and this was no exception. He went up on stage and he used it as an opportunity to talk about climate change, something that a lot of our politicians don't even discuss during this election season. So here's what he had to say. Making the Revenant was about man's relationship to the natural world, a world that we collectively felt in 2015 as the hottest year in recorded history. Our production needed to move to the southern tip of this planet just to be able to find snow. Climate change is real. It is happening right now. It is the most urgent threat facing our entire species, and we need to work collectively together and stop procrastinating. We need to support leaders around the world who do not speak for the big polluters, but who speak for all of humanity. Ugh, he's hot. What a stud.
He's hot, and so is the planet, and he's concerned about it. Okay. I love it. Again, it's an opportunity that is a once in a lifetime, oftentimes quite literally. And you could either use it to thank your agent, right? And he thanked plenty of people, right? Or you could use it for something positive in the world. So that drives conservatives crazy because they don't agree with him. But if Gary Sinise or Kelsey Grammer, or John Voight, I think those are literally the three conservative actors in all of Hollywood, had used that opportunity to go on a conservative rant, they would have loved it. They would have been nearly orgasmic. They might have made him president.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ronald Reagan was, of course, an actor, and that was one of the few conservatives, and they did make him president. So in this case, here's a guy who's saying, look, the powerful are not standing up. He's actually being too kind to them by saying procrastinating. They're not procrastinating.
They're doing exactly. I want to dispel the notion that they don't know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing.
That's right. And so he's saying enough of getting money from the big polluters. That I loved. There's also a great speech earlier in the Oscars talking about getting money out of politics.
Ugh.
They're like, look, you can't. It was for the winners of The Big Short, the writers of The Big Short. They said you can't fix the banking problems until you fix the people who are donating to the politicians. I was like, yes, right? So these are all the things that we've been talking about, and that actually would help the country enormously. And for them to be given this great platform is wonderful. And the rich and the powerful already have so many platforms, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like Leonardo DiCaprio is not rich, right? And for him to use his platform in this case to bring out a message on behalf of the powerless rather than the powerful was moving and perfectly appropriate.
Absolutely. And I have to give him credit because, look, he's not a political pundit. He is not, someone who has to comment on these things, right? I think that there are a lot of actors and actresses that stay away from political statements because it could harm them or hurt them in some way in the future, right? They're worried about losing endorsements or losing sponsors, maybe even losing certain roles because casting directors might disagree with their political statements. But when they make strong political statements like what Leo just did during his acceptance speech, you got to give him credit because this isn't what he's doing for a job. He's doing it because he feels passionately about it and he wants to change it.
Yeah, and so I want people to understand it and get the perspective. The big studios who run Hollywood are not liberals. They're in the money-making business, so hence more likely to be conservative, right? Lower taxes, yada, yada. But the actors are largely liberal. But the actors don't have as big a voice and have as much power as the big studios do. So in that moment, when they have that voice, it's great to see them use it for the benefit of more people, instead of the powerful.
Exactly.
So, and I'm going to give one last, what would appear to be a random shout out here, but it's not. It's to Tom Hartman, who is a really strong, great, smart, progressive talk show host who's been around a long time. And there are two people that he has had really good influence over. One is Leonardo DiCaprio. So
Wait, he knows Leo?
yeah, he knows him very well, and they talk
I
about.
gotta hit him up. Like, what's going on? Like, I love Tom Hartman, but I'll really love him if he, gives me Leo's number. I mean, just so we can talk about politics.
Of course, just to talk about climate change.
I'm
right?
almost married later.
Right, I know. Well, but your climate seemed to have changed a little bit there on Tom Hartman. Okay, we're talking about this. Okay, so and so he had, Leonardo DiCaprio's heart and mind was already in the right place, but I think he did learn a lot from Tom Hartman. He says so, right? In what I've seen from that, and then Tom Hartman every week used to have one senator on, same senator, Bernie Sanders. Okay, so now people made fun of, liberal radio never went anywhere, yada, yada. Now, Air America was liberal radio. You guys probably don't remember, but the people that were on Air America, Rachel Maddow, #1 on MSNBC, Mark Maron, #1 podcast, Chuck D was on there, Liz Winstead was on there, creator of The Daily Show. Us were #1 online news network, and Al Franken, who's now a United States Senator, right? So those people wind up having somewhat of an impact. But the guy who gets left out oftentimes is Tom Hartman. Mm-hmm. But that voice in the wilderness, it created a ripple effect, which then now is a tidal wave as we stand right now. So don't ever get discouraged. So as everybody was talking down liberal radio, saying you can't get anything done, all these different things that they said, Tom continued, and he was a strong progressive voice, and it made a difference. It made a difference many years later. Tom's still around, still does a great, great show, which you should check out. But look at the effect that he's had when no one was looking.